Live it now.
Oh, here we go.
Yay!
Okay, I'm gonna let you take it.
Okay, perfect. Well, I'm so excited that all of you are here just to check us out and just to get some questions answered and kind of look in the back scene of things to just get a little more info. I know that starting 6 years ago, when I first started, I wanted all the info and I wanted to just gather all of the information that I could before I made what I felt like was an educated decision. And so coming to something like this is a perfect way to do that. So I hope that you feel comfortable and welcomed in to just a few moments of your time this evening. And we're just going to answer a few of the most popular questions that we often get asked time and time again. And so our very first question is, why direct sales? So Mary Grace, why direct sales? Why is that a good idea?
I love answering all these questions because I used to be the person with attitude. I had the worst attitude about things. And I think one thing that people need to realize about direct sales is that it's not what a lot of people think. I think a lot of people think like, oh no, is that one of those things where you bug your friends all the time and your family or whatever and try to get them to sign up? And it's like, no, absolutely not. Direct sales means direct to consumer. That's all that it means. And when direct sales came into my life 22 years ago, it absolutely changed my life. Gave me the ability to make extra income and then more income than I was making at my teaching job by working around the current schedule I had. And one of my favorite stories to share, Jen, and you know this, but way back when, I had listened to it on a videotape. That's how long ago it was. Little cassette tape. But there was a gentleman, I'm sure that it's been updated to YouTube by now, but his name is David Bach. And he wrote a very famous book called The Automatic Millionaire. And he shared a story about how when he was a financial advisor, couple after couple after couple would come into his office and they all were hoping to, be able to invest and make money. And he would show them how if they invested $500 a month, how they would become millionaires in a relatively very short time. I have to double check I don't remember, but it wasn't, 10, 15 years, something like that. And he said every single couple to the letter said, David, we don't have an extra $500. And he said what he was finding is that most people in America were living paycheck to paycheck, and they didn't really have a way to go make extra income without rocking the boat, without changing what they had already established, the things that they already had. And he said when he discovered direct sales, he thought, oh my gosh, this is the perfect thing. Because everything about it, you choose your own hours, you decide how much you want to make, you do it as little or as much as you want, you plan it around the life you already have, and it's extra income, which hasn't really, done anything else to all your other avenues of income. You're not taking a chance by like, well, if I quit this and do this, it's just something you're able to add without messing up the life balance that you already have. And that certainly was absolutely true for us. And it just proved to be the absolute lifesaver. It was just direct sales is owning your own business with all of the freedom and none of the overhead and none of the worry and the costs. It's absolutely wonderful.
I find that very interesting that even when that specific circumstance took hold, that it was that $500 amount. And right now we're seeing that the average home in America is also short that $500 to $600, gap. And so I think that's very interesting that even today that holds true, and to look forward into the next few months that can be very expensive.
To this business, now it was 22 years ago, so I'm sure the number has gone up, but did you know that most people that declare bankruptcy are $100 a month away from paying their bills? $100 a month. That's like taking a couple orders here at Park Lane. Totally. It's really unbelievable. So yeah, it's great. It's wonderful.
Yeah. Well, okay, so we know what direct sales is and maybe why. I know that this probably is not going to be a hard sale of a question, but why jewelry? Why is jewelry a good idea?
Jennifer. I was the one that I seriously used to say out loud, who sell jewelry? I was selling like a home product that was consumable. So I thought, I was so brilliant to be doing that. And I just really used to think who would sell jewelry and oh my gosh. So, okay. So the best example I can use of why jewelry is the company itself. And when they started in 1955, they knew the people that opened it, the Levine family, they knew they were going to do direct sales. They didn't know what product. And they hired 3 separate consulting companies. None of the other companies known that the others had been hired or anything. Okay. So they weren't in the know. And they said, carte blanche, free agents, go out into the world, do your due diligence and come back and tell us top 3 products that you would recommend that we sell. All 3 of them came back with jewelry as number 1. And it shocked the Levine family too, because that's not what they thought they were going to do. Well, here's the story. Okay. The research, same thing still holds for all of us. Extremely inexpensive to ship and store. We don't do a whole bunch of that ourselves because they keep the inventory, Park Lane ships right to our customers, but they can keep a lot of inventory in their Chicago warehouse. And boy, did we see that benefit through COVID, didn't we? We didn't have any stock out. Oh my gosh, it was wonderful. Okay. So that, okay. The market is the broadest retail market from newborn babies to, 100 and over. Okay. Men as well as women. Men definitely buying for themselves more than they did 22 years ago, but also buying very largely for women. Top 3 gifts in the world, candy, flowers, and jewelry, withstands the test of time. Like if you see a movie about Cleopatra, jewelry, pirate treasure, jewelry, jewelry's been around forever and people go gaga over it and it's not going anywhere. In fact, research shows it's going to go up in the next 10 years. So, and also, here's the kicker. You heard me say it earlier. It's considered a consumable product. Fashion is consumable. It changes with the trends. It changes with the outfits. It changes with the seasons and the people. Okay. The looks that it's unbelievable. And, 12 years ago, you would have been just taking my research word for it. Today, oh my gosh, you guys, I cannot believe how much jewelry I sell.
Right?
I cannot believe what a wonderful, it's not an impulse purchase as much as an emotional purchase. And it's just unbelievable. And we're one of the only businesses that go up in hard times, jewelry, because people will maybe not buy a car. Maybe they won't buy a whole new outfit or dress, but they'll buy a piece of jewelry to make themselves feel happier. I love it. I think it's absolutely wonderful. It's the place to be. So if you're here looking at direct sales for the first time, you don't even know that you fell into the one of the strongest products. Very smart thing to sell.
Definitely. And I love that we have so many avenues of being able to share what we do and how we do it. That just makes it so much easier because it's such an impulse purchase too, right? That easy click and ship, honestly. And you get, beautiful earrings showing up at your doorstep. And
I used to sell candles. I certainly was out, if I was out in public with my candles, it didn't get me business. It got me weird looks, right? But I mean, we're wearing our product. So imagine you guys, just even as a brand ambassador, you have this necklace on, someone says they love it, and you're able to whip out your own little website and get it for them. It's kind of crazy that we all don't become reps.
I've sold things out of the Starbucks drive-through line before. It's so funny how those things happen.
Yeah.
Which kind of leads us to the next question, right? So we know why jewelry, but why Park Lane jewelry? Why does that stand apart from others?
Okay, so I already mentioned this, so I will mention it again in case you didn't catch it. But Park Lane's been around since 1955. It is a cash-rich, well-established, debt-free company. So obviously that sounds wonderful, but why is it wonderful for us? Well, who do you think the jewelry houses want to do business with? Who do you think the chain houses and the stylists and the stone Masons or whatever want to do business with, right? They want to do business with the people that are going to pay cash. And that's us. Okay. They want to do business with the largest direct sales jewelry company in the world, which is us. They want somebody with a proven track record, which is us. So we always have like, we're just like, have our thumb on the pulse or whatever. We're just always one of the first in every single trend and everything to get it out there. We have so many different avenues through which you can sell. For very many years, our main gig was in-home parties, but oh my gosh, now we have like online is 75% of our business. If you want to do online, you can do personal appointments, private showings, real shows, Zoom shows online, have a VIP group, be a brand ambassador and just, put lifestyle pictures up. I mean, there are so many different ways, and we have all of the tools to help people be successful in any of those avenues. One of the things that Scott and Arthur and Mark, who are the owners, do is they never take anything away. They'll only add. So any perk that another company has, we'll all of a sudden find ourselves with it. So if someone, so a couple companies had car bonuses, so we added a Mercedes bonus. Okay. So other companies have a trip every year, so we have two. We can earn jewelry every single month, up to $1,000 in free jewelry every single month. And the friends and family discount, just imagine what you could get your own jewelry. Some people join just for that because they're their own best company, and why pay full retail when you could be getting a deal on it? So yeah, Park Lane, it has been identified, not just because I'm saying it, but as the #1 direct sales company benefit wise. Okay, we have the most generous programs, and we have the most generous profit program. And I always tell people, Jennifer, and it's not as cocky as it sounds. I go, you know why you should join Park Lane? Because I did. And I don't mean like, oh, because I did. But what I mean is I was in the top 10 income earners of my other company. What would it take for somebody to leave that to come over to something else, right? I'll tell you what it was. So I took the successes that I had in my last year of my other company. And that year I had made about $250,000 a year. Wasn't complaining, but I took everything that I did and I fed it into the profit program for Park Lane, and it would have been $700,000 doing the same exact activity. So, that was pretty awesome to me. And even though we've been around since 1955, we are updating and changing and adding all the time. So in so many ways, it's like a startup company with an established debt-free, cash-rich base, because we're going on to the second, third generation now. A lot of people never heard of it. Probably people that are watching this right now hadn't heard of Park Lane until us. That's a wonderful thing because it's, you get to be the first one to introduce it.
Yeah. Just the flip side of that and thinking about my story in joining Park Lane is that I started with zero experience. I came to Park Lane not having been with another company. I'd heard of other companies before. I had family members that were involved in other companies. But I started, at ground zero as a fashion director coming in here. And like I said, I've been here now for 6 years and have promoted many times and got to experience all of these different experiences, the trips and the bonuses and things like that. And so know that coming from someone with zero experience, you most certainly can come and experience all of these wonderful things that Mary Grace has just, talked to. And you don't have to start off, or you don't have to be, coming in way up high. You can start.
I do do a plug for our organization because we have hundreds of years of experience in our organization. Yes. Very established, wonderful leaders, but also young, up and coming ones, and very much have all of the up to the moment tools that we need. I actually have a social media person who does like images and stuff. So it literally could be a what do I want to say? A copy and paste kind of business for a lot of people. Like, here's what you put in on your group today, and you can start making money while you sleep. It's really cool.
Yeah, it is. It's very good. So I guess that the last question for me that I would have would be, why now? Why is now a good time to take Park Lane for a test drive?
Okay. Well, I have a canned answer for this one. Okay. This has become one of my things. You know this, Jen. All the reps that I'm so delighted to work with know this. But one of the success principles that I take super seriously is called lean in. And successful people lean in. They don't overthink things. They don't analyze every which way. They just say, okay, they look at the risks, they look at the bennies, and they go, okay. And they think, I'll learn the rest as I go along. And I am very glad that I did that and do that in a lot of different ways. So the fact that you're here even listening, it's really not about winning a free piece of jewelry, right? There's something in your heart or head that was like, would this be for me? Yes, it is, and with the no risk that we have and all of the benefits that you can have and no quotas or anything, why would you not just lean in and do it now? Now, that being said, it is a wonderful time to start, even season-wise, because we're in the holiday season. We call this our golden quarter. We're like in that part of the year where people are doing their holiday shopping and everything, not only for others, which jewelry, again, one of the number one gifts in the world, but also that they're snazzing up their own outfits, especially after everything we've been through. People are going out to like Christmas parties and stuff for the first time in a long time. And Zoom, if people are working from Zoom, this upper body dressing, all of this is a huge thing. So this is a wonderful, wonderful time to start. Also, we get a new book in January. So I've always thought this is such a clever time to start because you do your first breakout, like introductory, whatever, with the person that is bringing you into the company. They do all of it, but you get the paycheck. And then when you're ready to do like your first shows on your own or first things online, then we have a new catalog around the corner. So like even people that just bought will buy again, so it just really helps you to get that up and rolling and going again. And I know people think, oh, it's such a busy time of year. I'll wait and I'll do it later. But truly the lean in, do it now thing is really critical. It's a super important success principle. It's $99. And for $99, you get to choose 500 in jewelry of your choice. It's ultimately your jewelry, so you choose, okay? First of all, if I went out into my neighborhood street and screamed that, people would do it. $99 for $500 worth of jewelry. In addition to that, we set you up in your own little business. You have all the tools you need. You have your own personal website. You have access to all of the information and everything that we've created for you. It's everything right there, business in a box, and you can be up and go ready by like, we could do a show with you tomorrow night and you could get the paycheck. So it's like any job I ever had, Jenny Word, I don't know if you did, any job I ever had, besides Park Lane, I would have to wait 2 to 3 weeks to get my first paycheck.
Yes.
Even when I transferred within the same company and just went to a different city, I had to wait 3 weeks to get my paycheck. Why? They changed everything.
Right.
And it's like with Park Lane, you could start today and you would have a paycheck on Friday.
Right. That's crazy.
Amazing.
Yeah, that was one thing that I think that we didn't mention is that we do get paid weekly here. That's a big deal, a huge deal, because you can go at your business in so many, different ways, thinking of, oh my goodness, I have this emergency that's come up. I need money. That kind of sometimes lights a fire to need to do a little bit more. And you can do that and have that money in your bank account the very next week, or in some cases, a few days. So yeah. I so appreciate that. And I'm grateful.
The last little plug I would put in, because I do get very excited about my job, I think every single one of us would agree that it's more than just a job.
Yeah.
It's done so many cool things for all of us in so many different ways. as far as your self-esteem, we learn so many different things through this business. I often say that it's like a personal growth, personal development plan with profit.
Definitely.
Be a part of a bunch of people that are so uplifting and wanting so much for each other. And it's been a very wonderful experience. And we will leave you with more than we found you with. If you do it for 2 days, you'll leave with more than you came with. That's for sure. So thank you so much, Jennifer, for taking this opportunity to interview me this week. What I'm going to do, you guys, is right in 3 minutes at 6:30, I train new stylists. So I'm gonna turn off my camera and come back on at 6:30. So if you are finished and done for the day, you can vamoose. If you want to stay for the new stylist training, please do. And I think I have some other people in the waiting room that I'll let in at 6:30. So Jennifer, thank you so much again for joining me. And
You're welcome.
that Google form, everyone who puts their Google form in tonight is going to be there. We appreciate your patience with us today. Thanks, everybody.